Hello everyone. This is a very short video showing some footage I took on the first day of the 2019 Seattle to Portland bike ride. I'm Bill Hoke and I participated in this event with my daughter Grace, who you see up ahead there in the maroon jacket, and her friend Max Tangerlini, who's up ahead in the orange and blue biking shirt. His dad Niels, who is just in front of this guy in the... No, he's just to my right, sorry. In a Swiss-themed red and white biking shirt. And then just ahead, we're also joined by Chris Conley in the green jacket there, who rode in the event with me and Grace 2 years earlier with his daughter Eiley. The video I took is quite limited because I had just bought the camera and I screwed some things up. Sorry about that. We begin here riding down Montlake Boulevard at the start at the University of Washington, passing Husky Stadium on the left. There are a total of 8,000 riders in the event, and they start in waves every 10 or 15 minutes. We got going at about 6 a.m. As registrants for the 2-day ride to Portland, the earliest we could have started was 5:15. About 1,000 of the riders registered to ride in one day, and they had the option of starting even earlier. The route eventually exits the campus and crosses the University Bridge, one of several historic, iconic drawbridges in Seattle. Our journey started 2 days earlier in Albany. We drove up to Portland on Thursday. Then, on Friday morning, we put our bikes on a truck, boarded a bus, and went up to Seattle. In Seattle, we did a little touring, and then had some dinner with friends and got to bed good and early for an early start the next morning. At this point, the route is entering the Eastlake neighborhood, after which it'll go in through the Montlake neighborhood. Okay, fast forward a bit now. We come down out of those neighborhoods and into the Washington Arboretum, which will take the route down to Lake Washington along the shore of that lake, which bounds the eastern border of Seattle. This is what it looks like when the masses of other cyclists start to come up on top of you, as they seem to come in waves. Okay, time for a break. Our first little bit of, let's fine-tune some things. We're about 20 minutes in and we're starting to get hot. So, taking off some jackets. And also, we've got to fiddle around with that number that keeps dragging on the tire. Pulling out gets a little scary when there's this many people coming by. It's kind of hard to squeeze in. Just gotta do it. Okay, heading to do some twisties now. Down the hill to the lake. Bryce and Max leading the way. We racked up some pretty impressive stats during the day. Our average speed was a pretty leisurely 11.5 miles per hour, but Max, he was screaming at 28.9 miles per hour. Very impressive, Max. Finally coming down to the lake there. The route goes alongside the lake for about 10 miles. And we're coming under I-90, the I-90 bridge at this point, which drops down onto the water and becomes a floating bridge for, I forget how long, but it's a pretty massive structure. And it was quite a project when it was built. It goes across Mercer Island and then across another channel of water over to what's known as the east side, which is where Bellevue and Redmond and Microsoft and all of that is located. The elevation profile for the ride is pretty flat, but as you can see right around the lunch there's a pretty good sized hill, about 500 feet, and then right at the end there was a steep climb, cruelly, in the final few minutes. So we're coming up on the end of this clip, which is the start of the first day, which ran for 118 miles down from Seattle down through Tacoma and all the way down to Centralia, which is at the 104-mile mark, from which we went on to Napavine. This is at the end of our break at the 104-mile mark at Centralia, and I believe it's a state college. There's a lot of camping here, hundreds of campers, and a lot of food, a lot of vendors, and we just took a short break and then got back out onto the road because we had 14 miles to go to get up to the end point at Napavine. So we just got back on, went past the final few vendors who are doing massages. We wouldn't get that at the Napavine Elementary School, unfortunately. This is what we did get, though, and it was oh so good. Fast forward to the end of the second day. We're not going to talk much about the second day, except to say that Max, Niels, and Chris had a great ride. And at the end of it, we were back at our hotel, and it was really wonderful because there was a rooftop restaurant there, and we were joined by Chris's family. We had a really nice time. Beautiful views of Portland, great relaxing, great time hanging out with friends. Really wonderful way to finish the ride. The next day we hit the road, but before hitting the road, we took a short journey up to the Oregon Health Sciences University on the gondola and enjoyed some more views of Portland. The clouds were out, so we didn't get to see Mount Hood, but it was a great diversion. And I'll just conclude by saying thank you to Niels, Max, and Chris for sharing this great experience with us. We had a great time and really appreciate it. So that's it.